afternoon now. Good afternoon, YouTube. I'll give everybody a few minutes to come on in. I know I made the announcement in a couple different places, so I'll give you guys a couple minutes to kind of be able to slide on through to come into the broadcast. I decided to do some of my more educational sort of stuff about eBay and share some of those things like that on YouTube Live, just because it's a wider array of people who can see it and it lasts a little bit longer than on the Instagram Live, and most people don't have the Periscope app. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about eBay shipping, inventory, and organization using my actual house and inventory as an example. So this is kind of the rough cut. I'm in my kitchen. This is actually a wall in my kitchen. Hey! No, it does not. It does not. This is actually one part of my kitchen where I keep some of my inventory. And I just got an eBay sale on some shampoo and conditioner, so I need to pull that. The great thing is last night I went through like my entire inventory in my kitchen. You guys will see me. I got to come into frame for a second. And then I'm going to turn you guys around once I go to the other part of the room. But I just need to grab an item that I just sold. I labeled these. All of these were really inexpensive containers. I think, oh, hey! I think that a lot of times people think organization has to be expensive. I'll give you guys an example. These green crates here, I got these for 35 cents, and then I got some of them for a penny at Dollar General. This one I just found it somewhere free. These down here, these I got last year for 50 cents at Dollar General, and they actually have wheels on them, which I love, and they're kind of see-through, so you can get a picture of what's in them. Then these little mini crates, I use these for small stuff like makeup, things that tend to fall through the bigger crates. I got these all for a penny at Dollar General. So if you guys are on my Instagram, I showed you guys how much I paid for my little label maker that I got from the Salvation Army, and found some labels for it for $1. Well, it's got to go somewhere. So right now it's gonna be right here. So last night I went through all this stuff because I had to make sure things weren't expired. One reason you want to make sure you're going through your inventory at least like once a month, because like this, last night I found this. This is an item that I had listed, and I go to pull out my inventory and it is cracked and like broken and destroyed. So now I can't sell this, so I have to toss it out, and I need to take down that listing. But imagine my surprise had I not looked at this and then got a notification that this thing sold, and I'm sitting here looking like a crazy person. We're going to go over to my other station here. This is something that doesn't belong to me. Okay? These are colored pencils. I've been organizing all morning. This is pretty much what I call my weigh station. Let me pull you guys back. So, on this side, this is my scale where I do all the magic of the weighing, and then this here is actually where I put items that I need to list, so I can keep them separate. The crates you just saw on the other side are items that are actually already listed, so once I list them, they go on those crates. When they need to get listed, they're over here. That way they don't get mixed in. Right now I have 399 active listings on eBay. I just sold something, so it took me down over to 400. But I have 399 active listings. It is very easy, the more listings you have, to mix things up and to, you know, think you listed something, but you didn't list it. And after a long time, find out, man, I never even listed that. That's crazy. So you want to make sure, and I'm going to bring you guys up closer to me in a second. I got to put you guys on this side. This is kind of like right beside where this area is. This is just a bookshelf that I put in the corner because there was like a lot of corner space right here in my kitchen. So I put a bookshelf over here. This is stuff that's like new stuff that I have to check and see if it's listed. I'm not sure. So I put it in there. Once I know it's new stuff that needs to be listed, it goes over here. When things sell, of course, my shipping stuff, my tape, and then I have some of the most commonly used like boxes and envelopes right near here. So it makes it a little more efficient. Realistically, I was doing this super backwards for a long time. I was actually putting the boxes in the living room. So I would be in the kitchen, you know, storing, setting up, organizing, and then I would always have to say to the kids, hey, bring me this. I'm sorry, let me turn you guys around. Oh, I'm turning you the wrong way. I need to flip you this way. Let's see if that'll work out or if it's going to cover me. Okay, yeah, you guys can see me. Okay, so what the wacky thing I was doing was I actually had my tape, my scale, all that stuff in the kitchen, and all the boxes were in the living room. All the envelopes were in the living room. So every time I was shipping something, I'd be like, hey, somebody bring me one of those, you know. So sometimes you don't even realize how much things add more time to your process until you're actually kind of fleshing out the process, and you start asking yourself, like, why am I doing this like that? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Let me do this different. I use a lot of paper boxes and stuff too. I don't know if you guys could see, but I usually I alphabetize the locations of my listed stuff because I have kids, and sometimes if I want to tell them to go get something, I can't just say, go to the third shelf on the right hand side and get me the shampoo. You know, you need something that people can understand and that they can focus on and understand where your things are. So I use the alphabet, and it was really, really cheap and retarded. I had a penny gift bag that I got from some store, and I just cut the letters out and taped them onto boxes, crates, or whatever. That way I can say, you know, go to crate letter A and get me the Pantene that's in there or whatever. So that tends to take a lot of confusion out of things. Then if you actually record your inventory somewhere cool and put your locations, it makes it awesome and very, very easy to find things. My next major step is going to be putting all of the similar items in the same place. Like right now, the majority of that is done, but there's still some randomness going on. So I have most of my lipstick, lip balm, makeup sort of stuff like that is all together. But then you might still find some shampoo with some printer cartridges. So we got to get that completely organized, not so much. So start to finish, when I'm doing an eBay sale, I usually am going to pull my item. And then, you know, usually you should have a rough idea of what boxes your item fits in. When you're doing eBay or Amazon, you want to make sure you have a good supply of U.S. Postal Service priority mail boxes. You can get these at USPS.com. Just go to shipping supplies. It's free for you to order them. They will deliver them to your house. And the reason you want to order them and not just go to the post office is because you can get way more. And you can get boxes that usually are not in stock at the post office. Like the box that I'm holding in my hand is called a Regional Rate Box A. This is like a similar to flat rate, but the rate isn't necessarily always the same. But many times it can be a lot cheaper than just using the smallest priority box. I'll show you guys that. It's like a little cube. And that one, sometimes, this box, it's a 7x7x6, I believe, this little cube. Sometimes using that is more expensive than using this nice rectangular box that you could get quite a bit more into. So look into Regional Rate Box A and B. They have two. They have the ones that are more rectangular, and then they also have the type that are more of the long flat style box, almost like the medium flat rates. So look into those because you can get a lot of stuff. Another box I use a lot of is they call it a shoe box on USPS.com. It's which is funny because everybody always laughs about this because most of the time, like, shoe boxes actually cannot fit in here because it's not wide enough, but especially not adult size shoes. But they call it the shoe box on USPS.com. I go through a lot of those. So the cool thing is they will deliver like dozens and dozens of boxes to your house, so you'll have them when you need them. What I do is I have probably like 3 or 4 of each in my little area in the kitchen where I do most of my shipping and packaging. And then as they start to dwindle down, I just kind of replenish those from the garage. So what I'm normally going to do, I keep my tape nearby here too, just so all the stuff that I need is right nearby when I'm doing my shipping and stuff, because you want that process to go fairly swiftly. A lot of people don't like the packing and shipping. That's probably one of my favorite parts. Check stores like your Walmarts and stuff for this shipping tape on clearance. A lot of times you can get shipping tape really cheap. For example, I got this Scotch moving and storage long-lasting tape at Walmart for 50 cents in the summertime. I got like 8 or 9 rolls of it because normally this stuff is like $4 or $5. So make sure you're looking for stuff like that on clearance. Sometimes when I have coupon overage at Dollar General, they have this Duck brand HD clear shipping tape, which is excellent. Okay, I think it's like $4 for a 2-pack. So even if you're not using coupon overage, even if you had a 5 off 25 or a 2 off 10 at Dollar General, that's a nice product to throw in there if you just needed something else to add into your transactions. I love this tape. Works really, really well. Pretty much, if you ask me, just as good as the Scotch tape, if not better. So my assumption is that these are going to go in this Region A box. Now, I don't seal my box up just yet. What I do is, once I turn my scale on, I'm turning you guys around so you can see the scale and not me. Once I turn my scale on and it zeroes itself, I'll put this on my scale. Now, normally I will weigh an item to get an estimate when I put it up for on eBay. When I list it, I weigh it so I can get an estimate. The reason I weigh it again before I seal it up in the box is because depending on where that item is going, the same way I might have considered shipping it when I listed it may not be the most cost-effective way, and I'll show you what I mean. So right now, I'm just putting this in a box to see what the scale is saying, okay? So there's no packing material in here. You're always going to want to check, add some extra ounces for your packing material and stuff. But usually, if you're within 2 to 3 ounces, the price is going to be the same anyway. So right now, I'm looking at 4 pounds, less than 1 ounce. So I would probably put this in at about 4 pounds, 5 ounces, okay? So we're going to go over to the computer so that I can show you guys why I don't seal this box up when I get ready to send it, because I don't know where it's going. And you have to know where it's going to make your final decision. Sorry about the black screen. You have to know where it is going to decide and finalize where you're going to ship that. So I'm going to my eBay screen and I'm going to my orders where it shows the item, and we're going to go to print shipping label. Okay. This is going slow. Welcome to my computer, because the item that I posted is actually free shipping. So I need to make sure, since I'm doing free shipping, that I'm doing this the right way. Now, initially I estimated it at 5 pounds. That's not supposed to be there. Okay. So the best way to find out the cheapest way to do this, or the most cost-effective way, is to compare delivery services. Now, when you pop that up, it's going to show you a bunch of different options. Let me pull it up so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay. All of these, of course, priority options. They put first class up there, but of course, this can't go first class. So, as you can see, if I just put it in a plain priority mailbox, non-flat rate, just any, I could use the shoe box. I could use the box that just says large mailing box. That would be $8.91. Now, what I want to know is it cheaper to go any other routes? And sure enough, the Region A box is $6.83 for the same amount of weight. But that difference in box is a little more of $2 less to use the Regional A box, which has more room than the small cubed priority box. And I think it just looks nicer when you do the Region A's. I feel like the label fits on it really nice, and I really like it. So I'll go ahead and do the Region A. Of course, you could do, there are cheaper options, but you just have to make sure. These aren't going to fit in a padded flat rate envelope. So you're not always going for the most cheap option. You're going for the most cost-effective option to ship your item in a way that is going to look professional and is going to get there nicely, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and select the Regional A box because that's going to be the best move for me, and this actually is not. I'm just going to put it at 4 pounds and 8 ounces. That way, that gives me enough space to put a lot of, paper. I can scrunch a lot of paper around it. I can put all kinds of stuff in there that if I was worrying about the weight changing how much I was paying, I might do more, air packaging and things like that. But because I know this is going to be $6.83 no matter what, I'm having a good time with this. The great thing about this item, if you guys follow me on Periscope, I showed you guys during the summertime, I found a really awesome Meijer store that had organics on clearance. So these organic shampoos that I got, that I sold 4 of for $27.95, I paid 29 cents each. So I paid $1.20 plus tax, of course, and I sold them for $27.95. My shipping is going to be $6.83. And I'll pay eBay about $2.80. So I'll be clearing about $20 on a $1.20 investment. So you guys know that I absolutely love bargain shopping. And oh, I didn't save it. Wait a minute. They almost got me. I almost hit purchase postage and it wasn't right. They almost got me. They almost got me for the $8.91. Hold up. And as you can see, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, I get better rates at the post office. For eBay, you need to be printing your postage at home. This is a $9.08 box, okay? Because of eBay, I'm only paying $6.83. You need to, this is 25% savings. Now remember, I told you guys, in 60 days, I sold about 250 items. So just imagine 250 times $2.25. You don't even have to imagine it. I'm going to put it on the screen for you because I know people like visuals. That is $562 just in 2 months. Please, 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 if you do nothing else, print your postage at home, and it's really not hard. I order these 2 labels per page. Let me see if I can pull it back. It's 2 labels per page on eBay. I order these on eBay. I usually get them about 200 at a time. It cost me $10. I think they're $10.55 or something for 200 of them. Stick this right in my little inkjet printer. Easy peasy. And I print that thing out and stick it right on the box, so I don't have to tape it down using paper and stuff like that, because that gets annoying. The only thing you have to do to make sure you're not wasting your labels is tell it you only want to print the label. You do not want to print the receipt. Okay, so make sure you do that, and then you don't have to worry about the printing out extra stuff. Okay, and I changed my landscape. I got to put it back on portrait because I was printing from Amazon, and on Amazon to eBay, the portrait thing kind of changes a little bit. So on Amazon, I had to flip to landscape, but on eBay, I have to keep it on portrait for whatever reason. So that's the story of my life. There's always something. So we're gonna go back in the kitchen so I can pack this box, and then we'll talk a little bit more about. So my label is printed out. Going back to my box where my scale is. We're actually gonna go to the post office right after I get off here because we got some errands to run, and usually I do an early post office run. Sorry, let me move you guys back so you can see me a little bit better. I do an early post office run, and I do a late post office run. I will usually leave these, if they're in a bag, I'll usually leave them in that. But one thing I also do, just in case there's any issues with like squeezing, because you know a lot of people say the postal service, you know, does crazy stuff. I usually am going to tape down my tops just to secure them. I usually just tape the tops down so nothing, even if it's squeezed, hopefully they don't come open. And I've never had a problem with them before, and I've shipped a lot of shampoos. So I usually just put a little bit of tape on these and tape them down. And I'm going through a lot of these. Like at one point, I had about 40 of these organic. So I'm actually kind of happy to see them go. This is probably one of my last sets. And I'm really happy for it to be gone. Okay, so got those. And then I sealed the bag too, just because, you know, in case the box gets wet or something. This box is not waterproof, so you want to make sure if your items are, you know, in there, you want to make sure you cover them up. And then I grabbed some of this paper. This, I can show you guys this. This is called duck packaging paper. I actually got this big pack. It's 120 sheets of it, and usually that's quite a bit. At Walmart, these scanned $2.50. So I grabbed it because sometimes I do need packing paper, and I don't use like newspaper for that sort of stuff. A friend of mine told me that you could get newspaper rolls, like what do they call them? Newspaper end rolls is what they're called. If you talk to your local paper, it's kind of like a big long sheet of white paper that they use to print the newspaper on, that you can get from them. Some of them sell them, some of them give them away for free. In our area, they were not trying to hear me. They were like, what? So I couldn't do that. So then I put some paper down. I'm going to put this in there. And then I usually place paper around it to kind of pad it because I don't like anything like jiggling around. So I put them in there, and then I'm going to put paper like on each side all around and then on the top. So it's not jiggling. It's not shaking in the box. It's not going to be all over the place. It'll hold still, and it's not going to get smashed. That's the goal. You don't want anything smashed. You don't want anything shaking and breaking your box all while it's shipping. And the great thing about Priority is that I always tell people the less time the post office has, or any shipping, you know, house has your product in their hand, the better off it will be. So the great thing about Priority is that it goes quickly. So usually if I get a sale early in the day, our post offices stay open kind of late, but they first take in the mail at 1-ish, and the trucks go out, then they do it again at 5. And then we have one post office close to me that stays open until 9 o'clock. So if you get it there by 9 o'clock, it will still go out the same day. So that's pretty cool too. Right now I do same business day shipping for some of my items. So like the newer items I post, I will send them out on the same business day if orders are made, I believe, by like 3:30. So, and if you want to do extra padding, sometimes I'll put, do this a little bit different, because sometimes I'll put these in a bubble envelope and then put it in the box. Just so it's like extra super padded. Like a lot of times I know my buyers are like, this lady was terrified that something was going to happen to this stuff, because I'm locking everything down. I don't want any movement. I don't want any breakage. Nothing coming back. 0 returns is what I like to hear. So when I put it in that box, I want it to get there just the way I sent it. I want to get it like I'm sending it to myself. So when I'm packing it in, I'm packing it in really, really nice. Really, really snug. And then getting that tape on there because you don't want it to break. You don't want your box to be buckling. You want to make sure it can fit and still be the shape that the box was when you set it up. You don't want big bulges hanging out of the side of your box, because usually those boxes are more likely to break and to get like punctures and holes in them. So you want to make sure your box stays intact the entire time it is in transit to your buyer. And we got a label in here. So cool thing about the postage labels that you print at your house, peel it off. It's a gigantic sticker, so be careful because it will roll over on itself. And then just put it right in your box. I usually put it across the opening, so it's kind of like an added piece of tape across the opening. And then we're ready to go to the post office. And then I usually drop that near the door. I do stamp most things fragile. I'm going to turn you guys around in case you guys have any questions. Thank you guys for the thumbs up. I got to move you around a little bit. Yes. It says rotate device. I just did that. How about now? Am I upside down? Am I in the right orientation for you guys to see me? I have a tripod, then I have another phone holder, then I have phone holders everywhere. So I got stuff everywhere to grab my phone, so I'm talking to you guys. So that is usually how I take my shipments from start to finish. One other thing that I actually like to do though is a lot of times certain items that if I'm getting lower on inventory on an item, then it's giving me this thing. I don't know why it's doing this. It's telling me to rotate the device, which I did. And it's still telling me to rotate the device. I'm not sure why it's telling me that. Are you guys am I sideways to you? Or do I look like I'm standing up? Because I don't see any comments coming through, and I'm going to tilt my head as if I'm sideways because that's how smart I am. So one thing I also do is sometimes when I'm getting low on inventory, I will list an item as a quantity of 1, even if I have more than 1. And then once it sells, that kind of prompts me to go back through my inventory, make sure that if I have more, then I can go ahead and relist it. If I don't, then, that's fine. I'm not worried about something selling that I don't have. At the beginning of the month, I do like to go through and kind of put my hands on all my inventory, just kind of go through each area of inventory, make sure there's no spills, nothing has been damaged, nothing has been removed, nothing, because a lot of times anything can happen. Nothing has expired in the time since you listed it, especially if you have a lot of listings that you have that are good until canceled. Because good until canceled sometimes can mean that you have this item kind of sitting there for a long time and you're not realizing it, because the more and more listings you have, it's very easy for, those 300 items you listed 2 months ago to fall out of your memory if they haven't sold. So make sure you're checking your expirations checking your packaging, checking, making sure everything, if you listed it new, make sure it still looks like it's new after a few months of kind of hanging out in your inventory space. Also, it's a good way to kind of turn over and make sure that everything you have is actually listed. You kind of put your hands on it, looking at your list, and you're seeing, okay, yes, this is there, or no, hey, I don't even have this listed anywhere. I didn't know this was here. Like, perfect example. Today I found 2 bottles of this that I didn't even know I had, because I was moving around some inventory and stuff, and I was like, wait, where did these come from? I just listed a similar product the other day, but I didn't even know I had those. So that's something else that goes into my crate of stuff to list next, because I have a goal. I told you guys I reached my 400 items listed goal on Sunday. Well, now my next goal by December the 10th, which is my birthday, is to have 1,000 active listings. In order to get to that, I have to list quite a bit. I have to list consistently, and I have to list often. Now, if you guys saw my little crate over here, you know I got quite a bit of stuff in there still that needs to be listed. I have other items in parts of the house that need to be listed, and then I also have items I need to go through and decide, are these sellable items, are these donation items, are these giveaway items, like what are we doing with them, and move them out, because I kind of like to purge at the beginning of the month so everything doesn't become overwhelming. And then we're moving some larger inventory into the garage now because it's cooler. We're not worried about things, we're not moving food and stuff out there, but because it's cooler, I can put things in the garage that, you know, might be made of plastic or things like that, that I'm not worried about things happening to. So we're going to be organizing that way. I also talked to you guys about inventory. Inventory is huge, man. You don't have to have a sophisticated system. Sometimes my inventory system is just as simple as some crates with letters on them. Crates with letters on them. Let me see if I can get them in the frame while I'm talking to you. Like these crates with letters on them that I put stuff into. And when I put stuff into these crates with letters on them, as you can see, I can see through them. So I can get a good view of what's in there. So it's not all hidden away. The reason I don't like using like post office boxes and stuff like that for inventory is because, oh, you guys can see my big huge bag of bags. Everybody, if you shop a lot, you got a bag of bags somewhere. You got to have a bag of bags, or I just feel like you're not really doing this thing. But I don't like to use boxes and like brown boxes and stuff, or dark colored totes, because I can't see what's in them. So for me, sometimes I'm really visual. My memory is really visual. So I usually can remember where I saw something last, unless, you know, everything has just been turned upside down. But I usually can remember where I saw something last. So I usually am going to use things that I can either see through on the side or that are open at the top, so that I can kind of get a good idea of what's in them. Another good thing to do is have a list. What I did, if you guys are on my Instagram, you saw a picture of my operations manual that I've been working on. And one of the things that is in there, as I'm building my business, one of the things that I'm trying to do is make it simple enough that if I brought somebody else into my business, whether it be my kids, my mom, an intern, whatever, it would be simple enough for them to, one, understand how I do things, but be able to pick up and do things 80% as well as I do them. So in order to do that, sometimes it's a little bit slower, but I have to stop myself. I have to look at the way I'm doing things, ask myself, is this efficient? Is this something that would be easy for someone else to understand? You know, sometimes we get things in our mind and we get it, but that doesn't mean somebody else is going to get it. So one of the things I did was I wrote down a list of my inventory locations, and these are throughout my whole house. You guys, thank you so much. You guys may have, you know, if you just have one place that you keep inventory, awesome. But fortunately for me, I have a small house, so a lot of the inventory and stuff is in different places. Like, I have a lot of closet space, which is weird. My closets, most of them are so big that I have cubes, like cube shelves in them, where I can still store things so they're not out of the way, but they can be neatly stored. And you guys know I got little people with little hands, so I have to keep certain things away, especially when toy season comes in, because the kids, when they see the toys, they're like, yes! So I have to keep those away from the kids. So one thing I did was I wrote down all these locations, and the goal by the end of this month is to have the types of items that are in these locations. Now, each one of these locations is going to have a list similar to, almost like this. This is more of a day-by-day to-do list, but similar to this, like a strip list with all the items that are in it. Then as those items are taken out, we cross them off. So at the end of the month, I know what should be in there. Okay, I know what should be there. Am I side? That's the question I was asking. Am I sideways? Okay, hold on. I didn't think I should be sideways, but then it was saying rotate your device. So it may be, am I sideways now? Hey, Jen, am I sideways right now? To anybody? Do I look sideways to anybody? I'm good now. Okay, perfect. So I was sideways. Okay, good enough. So what the goal is to have like a strip list on each location so I can see what actually should be in there, what is not in there. Now, the location list is going to have almost like the library, you know, what's in location A, whether that be shampoo or, because I think that's what's in location A right now, shampoo and like air fresheners. What's in location B. That way, if somebody's looking for an item and you don't, and the strip list might be missing, we know what should be there. That way, if I have somebody come in who's assisting me with, it's funny because my camera's at the bottom, so I have to look down here to talk to you guys directly. If I'm having somebody else help me put away items, I'm bringing in a lot of items, I'm shopping. You guys know I love like Dollar General clearance events and events like that. I usually get a ton of stuff. And so then when you ask somebody to help you, because this is a resellers and clearance shoppers and couponers biggest complaint. Like nobody ever wants to help with all this stuff. But sometimes when people want to help us, we can't really verbalize to them how to help and like what exactly we want them to do. I'm going to take my glasses off because it's giving you guys a little bit of a glare. But sometimes it's hard for us to verbalize to them like, hey, here's how I do this. Here's where I want this to go. Can you please put it there? So the purpose in writing down some of your systems and kind of the way things are normally is so that when you get help in, or whether it's you have to hire seasonal help for the holidays, or if you're hiring interns in the summertime, this way you can teach them quickly too. Yeah, don't give into the fear, man. It's not as hard as a lot of people make it. But if you take it serious, you can do it really well. Now, I always tell people. Okay, honey, I'm talking. I'll come and see that in just a minute. The great thing about working at home with your kids. The thing is, take it seriously from the start, and you'll do fine. Learn as much as you can learn, and there's so much you can learn out there. There's so much free information. eBay. The eBay community, the Seller Hub, everywhere, YouTube videos. There's so much you can learn about eBay, and take it one day at a time. You know, consistency pays with eBay. Even if you just listed 5 items a day, at the end of a month, that's 150 items. You know, if none of them sold. At the end of 2 months, that's 300 items. So you don't have to make it this big, massive, you know, oh my God, I can't get it done. You can get done more than you think. If you would have told me, I started on eBay at the end of January of 2017. If you would have told me in January of 2017 that I would ever have over 400 listings on eBay, I would tell you were crazy, because my house is less than 800 square feet, literally. So these 400 active listings, some of which have over 20 items in them in each separate listing, I would not have said to you, yes, I could be able to do that. But when you start to systematize things and you start to break things down, don't let the overwhelmedness, you know, get the best of you. Yes, it may seem like a big thing. Bite off small pieces at a time. You know, people always talk about how to eat an elephant, you know, one bite at a time, just like you eat everything else. So if you have a big goal, if you have something big you want to do it. Take it one day at a time. Organize it, because you don't want this thing. Part of the overwhelmingness of reselling, of couponing, whatever, is when you get all this stuff and it's starting to overrun your life. You know, you can't go in a room without tripping over bags and boxes. You can't sleep in your bed because stuff is right next to you in the bed, you know. And sometimes it's like that. But you have to master the things that you bring in, not have them master you and run your entire life. So there's a time and a place for the things you're doing. Organize it to the point where you're able to feel comfortable and say, okay, not only is this something I can understand, it's something someone else can understand, and put it in writing. It does not have to be typed. It does not have to be, this is literally, this written list says, this is my kitchen organization system. I had a goal by a certain time to have a system down for my kitchen. I'll show you, I literally drew a diagram of the way my kitchen is set up. I just showed you guys where my scale is and my crate of stuff to list and my box of stuff I'm sorting and the box of boxes and envelopes behind that. And this is the other crates on the other side. Oh, these over here. My crates and my blue boxes and my mini crates. Okay. You're very welcome. I just sketched this out last night. Why? So that I could show it to somebody else and say, okay, yeah, this type of stuff is usually in this blue crate. If you looked at this diagram and you walked into my kitchen, it wouldn't be hard to understand where this stuff is. You guys know I'm a mind mapper, so I like visual stuff. But my kitchen organization system was just that simple. When I drew those things out, I realized, oh man, if I'm wrapping up the packages right here on the counter, then shouldn't I have the envelopes close by and not in the living room? Because until last night, all my boxes and envelopes were in the living room. So I said, duh, it makes it a lot simpler if I put that stuff close to that stuff. And then I can keep the space a little bit more organized and not be so flipping all over the place. This was my system I wrote down. I said, when items are purchased, unbag and place in the sort box. Right there. Place one of each new item in the pink crate. Because sometimes I might buy 10 of something. I don't need to list 10 of them. I can put them in the pink crate that way. After that, it says daily. So every day, I'm supposed to take at least 10 items from the pink crate, take the pictures, weigh them, and post them. Whether that be eBay, Amazon, OfferUp. Because you guys know I sell on all three. Once posted, move to a listed inventory zone. So that means the places I listed in here, it needs to go now in one of these places where I have things that are listed. So it's not mixed up with stuff that's not listed anymore. Then it says, once posted, move to a listed inventory zone and record on the sheet, on my little list, for that location. Simple. This is not hard. Sometimes we just need to remind ourselves how to do things in a system. That way it becomes a habit for us. And if you do this successfully and it becomes a habit for you, then it's not going to overwhelm you because you know what to do. Sometimes we get overwhelmed because we got 50 bags of stuff all over the house. We got to get dinner. One of the kids is sick. This weekend, both my kids were sick. I got to get dinner, and I still had this goal that I wanted to meet 400 active listings over the weekend. So I'm juggling between everything and trying to decide what to do and how to do. When you have a system in place, it makes it a little bit easier. Because even if I needed to call in a reinforcement and say, hey, can you come over here and take the picture? Now, what's the next process I'm going to write down? I'm going to write down the process I use to take photos, which is a really simple process. I can show it to you right now. It's so easy. It's ridiculous. Okay, but it works. Now, I got to flip you guys around so you can see it. This is my picture area. It is also the back of my stove. Okay, so when I tell y'all, don't make this harder than it has to be, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do it. Now, one thing I'm going to need you to do is crop, please, and thank you. You do not. Don't keep the stove in the picture. But what I did was, this is a piece of white paper that I literally taped to the back of my stove because the bottom of it is white. And everything that can stand up, stands up. I take the picture. I crop the picture. I post it on eBay. Things that could not stand up, down here I have, this is like a project board. Now what I do with this sometimes is, if it's an item that I can just lay flat and take the picture without any shadows, I lay it flat right here. Take the picture of it. Post it on eBay with a white background. Square, you want to have your pictures look like squares versus rectangles. eBay has an amazing video on how to take the right photos from their eBay Open from 2017. A lot of this stuff actually is up here because I need to check the expiration dates. I pulled it out of my inventory and I set it to the side because I need to check expirations to make sure that these items are still good. I need to check and see if they're actually even listed. Absolutely. Thank you for saying that, Jen, because I did run into that quite a few times with my variation listings, which is why if you do variation listings or multiple quantity listings, do not set those to good until canceled. Make them 30 days so that when they end at 30 days, you force yourself to look at that item and make sure you have the quantity that's listed on there. 1, okay, and is not expired. 2, okay, and you didn't sell them all the last time, or that none of them are damaged. I've had this happen before where I thought I had more of something Turn around, like I showed you guys earlier. Turn around, I go grab an item out of my bin and go, what the? I can't sell this now. So it's always good. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money to get started on eBay. Don't let fear, don't let I don't have a lot of money, don't let I don't have a lot of time, what am I going to do? Once you get the hang of it, you can do this thing. I'm telling you, if I could do this, working a job, taking care of 2 kids, homeschooling, but understand, I'm not going to tell you that this is not work. Like a lot of people think, oh, you can just grab some stuff, it'll just sell. Well, what if it doesn't? Sometimes you're going to have to go back and review those items and find out why they're not selling. Do you have a bad title? Is your picture garbage? Is your description garbage? Can people not see your description from a mobile device? Because that's very important, and there's ways to fix things like that. But you have to understand, like if you had a physical store, nobody would have a physical store and never walk into it, you know, and check the items. If you walked into a physical store that you owned and you saw items sitting on the shelf with dust all over them because nobody bought them, you would say, hey, man, are these still good? Maybe I need to put a sale on these to get people to buy them. And eBay has great promotions. I use promotions quite a bit, especially around holidays. Like next week is Columbus Day. Okay, you know, if you guys live near a furniture store or anywhere else, you know they have a sale every single holiday. Well, I do too. Okay, on my eBay, every single holiday, I have a sale too. 5% off, 10% off, whatever, because a lot of people are looking for promotions. They're looking to make sure, am I getting the best deal? Am I getting, you know, is this person's item better than someone else's item? And you can be competitive even without being the cheapest. So don't think to get on eBay the best way to get sales, or Amazon or anywhere else, is to just go and have the lowest price, because that's not always the best way to get sales. Sometimes people want an item fast, and I know a lot of people who are willing to pay a little bit more if they can get the item faster. If person A is selling an item for $10, person B is selling an item for $8, well, if person B says, I'm shipping first class and you might get it next week, if person A says, I will ship this item the same day if you buy it by 3 o'clock for $2 more, most people are going to go with this person because they want it now. Most people are buying things online because they want it. They not because they want to wait for it. So there's things you can do to be competitive without being cheapest. Don't cheapen the value of your item, because many times when it's too cheap, people start to wonder, like, is this, you know, depending on what it is. So there's all kinds of things. Shipping, location. A lot of people buy things in reference to where they are to the item, because they know this means I'm going to get it faster. I'm more apt to buy an item. I live in Michigan. I'm more apt to buy an item from somebody who is in Ohio, even if it's $1 more than an item from somebody in California, because I know California is going to take longer to get to me. So just keep those things in mind. Keep your feedback in mind. Make sure you're following up, giving feedback to your buyers, because it's important. And stay on top of your feedback. Make sure you stay on top of your systems. At home, it is so easy to get caught up with so much stuff. Listen, I know this for a fact, okay? But make sure you guys just stay on top of it, and it will work out. I promise you. It's not always going to be easy. Sometimes it's a challenge, but you have to push yourself. Push yourself to do those challenging things, and you'll always be surprised by the results. So we got to get out of here. We got to go to the post office. We got some errands to run. I have a tutoring program that I'm taking part in today, so I'm volunteering. So we got a whole lot of stuff to do. I will see you guys later. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments below the video. I'm also going to put the link to my scale in the video in case you guys want to look into that. I think I got it on Amazon. So I'll put the link right to that if anybody's looking for a good scale. It's really inexpensive. I think it's about $23 and some change. So, good scale. It weighs up to 110-pound item. So it works really, really well. Yeah, and I think that's it. So if there's any questions, I will probably be back doing another live on Thursday. So if you guys have questions or any topics that you want to see if I can cover, definitely put those down there. It's good to see you too, lady. Definitely put those down there, and I will try to cover those the next time I am on. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Make sure you guys are following on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. And on Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, Snapchat, and everywhere else at Coupon Chess. That's COUPONCHESS. All right, guys, have a good day.